but very small. And then, of course, there are foundations. The Wellcome Trust, which is one of the largest foundations in the world, now has a science education department. And the person in charge of that department is Derek Bell, who was president of the Science Teachers Association of the UK for a number of years, and who is now one of the organizers of the York Conference for the IAP. They have provided funds, small funds, but funds for IAP, and he's becoming quite interested in this. So this is just an example. We're not saying that the Wellcome Trust is going to finance all of the IANAS effort, but if we can contact him and other foundations like that, we might make a pool of money to have some kind of funding for what we want to do. So, and there are a lot more. I mean, in the US, of course, there are many very large and important foundations. The other thing that I wanted to say is that I always remember that in the workshop that we had in Stockholm in 2005, somebody mentioned that the problem with education is it is so close to politics. And it is very, very true. And we have to recognize that fact. Obviously, education is a political issue in all of our countries, a major political issue. In my country, it's the highest priority, supposedly, for the government, for the new government, is education, improving education, because the politicians feel the pressure of the families that have children, and they're getting all of these results, negative results of how poor the education is in our country. So it has become a hot potato for politicians. Somehow I think we have to deliver our message to the politicians that this is a program that has the imprimatur of the science academies as being high quality, of excellence for science education, that is therefore something to be adopted. And we will have to try to convince them that this is a way to improve this and to get, because it does many things. It improves the attitude towards science, but it also involves the families. I mean, one of the key issues about these projects is that the community becomes involved with the project. Not only the scientists and the universities, but also the parents and the family groups of the children that are attending the schools, and also the political leaders. And I've told this story several times, but maybe I'll tell it again, that we got an invitation from the Congress of Chile, from this education committee of the Chamber of Deputies, to go and talk about the ECB program in Chile. And we asked, why are you inviting? Because one of the deputies met a group of children and asked them, what is your favorite subject in school? And they all shouted, science, science. And so he was so surprised that he went to a school to see what was happening there. And he said, oh, I never saw anything like that. All the children were talking about the results of their experiments, arguing with each other, and really enthusiastic about science. And so they called us. This was a couple of years ago, and all the committee recommended to the Ministry of Education to increase the funds for this, because it was obviously a good program. We have to get the politicians to visit the schools and to see what's going on and all of that. So these are some of the ideas that I can think of trying try to resolve this problem that we have now of a crisis. But the idea is that we have a very good project. We have a very unusual project that has been able to get the whole hemisphere, just about, of the Americas together with the backing of top people from the Academies of Science in a very key subject. So we cannot accept that this project will not get any funding, because it deserves funding, it merits funding, and we have to continue arguing for that. Thank you very much.